Welcome to the NWO Sports Podcast. Here's your host, Logan Bailey.
Welcome to the NWO Sports Podcast, brought to you by our primary sponsor, BSN Sports. I'm your host, Logan Bailey, and joined today by the Ball State softball commit and Defiance High School's very own Ayvah Cullen. Thanks for coming on the podcast, Ayvah.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, well, let's get this thing kicked off. We're going to kind of break this thing into different sections, but first, let's talk about your high school journey a little bit. Let's just start with your high school career. What was it like? You know, you started as a freshman. Just take me through what it was like starting as a freshman at a big program like Defiance High School.
Honestly, I would say it was a little intimidating at first. Obviously, I had some background experience with softball, and playing for a lot of years, but the high school field is way different than that, I think. So it was a little intimidating, but the team, the girls and the coaches, they really helped me feel welcome. So I think I settled in pretty quick. Yeah, it was a really amazing experience.
And what's it been like playing at Defiance? You know, Defiance has some of the top facilities in Northwest Ohio. Just talk about, you know, playing on the softball field. It's all turf as well, too, which not many fields in Northwest Ohio have that. Tell me a little bit about what that's been like.
Honestly, it's such a blessing. Being able to play in these awesome facilities on this amazing field, it's really great. We have access to things that, like you said, not many other schools do. We're able to work out in the winter, and when there's bad weather, we're able to go inside the Nice building. So that's really cool. It's really, I think it's really helped push our program forward, helped us be better, being able to get in that work when other teams aren't able to. So yeah, it's really a blessing.
Yeah, definitely. You know, my next talking point is you've developed into one of the top players in Northwest Ohio. You've played a lot of softball games. What part of your game do you think has improved the most from freshman year to now?
I would say definitely my offense. Since I started softball when I was younger, I've never really been a power hitter. Never really been a great hitter even. But I put in the work since my freshman year, and I think that's definitely been the biggest improvement. Yeah.
Well, with all those games, I'm sure you've got plenty of good memories, but do you have one particular favorite memory from playing in the Defiance uniform?
Oh man. Um, I think my favorite would probably be when we won the WBL back to back last year. That was really awesome. Gave us an opportunity to do something that no program has ever done before and chase a three-peat.
Yeah,
But
definitely. And from your freshman year, I believe that's when you guys, you know, really kind of started turning things around. I can't remember your exact record, but you guys had a decent year. And then, you know, the next few years after that, you guys have tore things up. You've won the WBL a couple times, won a lot of games as well. So definitely a lot of success over there for the Bulldogs.
absolutely.
Now, continuing on, you know, who are some teammates or coaches that have kind of helped to shape your experience at Defiance?
I do think Coach Barsowitz, she's been a big part of helping the girls and helping me more with the mental side of the game, and also being a former Division II player. She brings a lot of softball knowledge. I think she's a great leader, really connects with the girls. And Coach P and Coach Shock or Coach Parrish and Coach Shock, they're really great. They bring, like I said, like a lot of softball knowledge. They really care about all of us. You can really tell. And just like from my freshman year, all throughout my years, the seniors, each class, they've really led the teams. So they've been really big helps. But yeah, a lot of great people.
Let's move on to talking about your travel ball and training a little bit more. Outside of
Mhm.
high school ball, I know you've played a lot of travel ball all over the country. Can you just talk about maybe some of the places that you've played at, or, you know, what the experiences have been like with that?
Yeah, so I started playing travel ball when I was 7 or 8 years old, I think. I started out with a team out of Toledo, Ohio. I played with them for about a year. So those tournaments were mostly in this area, Northwest Ohio, and the occasional one in Columbus. And then I kind of branched out to a bigger team around Columbus area, and I would play in a little bit bigger range of teams, I guess, a little bit better competition. And from there, I moved up again to kind of like a statewide national team out of Akron. And there I was able to travel to the surrounding states to play softball. And then I went down to South Carolina to play for a team down there. And that's when I really got opened up to some of the best competition in this country. So on that team, I went to California, Colorado, Florida, Tennessee,
That's crazy.
Georgia, Alabama, South Carolina, um, Kentucky, Missouri, man, Texas, Arizona. Like I've been to almost half the states, or just over half, I think,
So let me ask you
just
that.
for softball.
Let me ask you this: how does playing for a team when you live in Ohio down in South Carolina? How does that work?
Well, when I did play for them, it was about a 9 hour drive, 9.5 hour drive.
Yeah.
So we didn't practice all the time together.
Okay.
But every now and then I'd make that drive down for the weekend. It was rough, but it was awesome.
Yeah.
And then from there, I moved to a team out of Georgia, which is a similar experience, about a 10-hour drive. We would only practice maybe 10 times a year, though.
Okay.
So nothing crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I now just moved to a team out of Michigan, but I still play. It's the same competition as what I've been facing.
Awesome.
But
Now, what's the biggest difference comparing travel ball, playing all over the country compared to high school ball? What's, just kind of compare the two.
I would say that with travel ball, like I said, there's kind of different levels to it. But when you're at the top, obviously, like now for me, there's nobody that I face that isn't a Division 1 softball player or committed to a Division 1 school or will be committing to a Division 1 school. So I'm playing the best of the best all the time. With high school ball, I think it's a little more mixed in.
Sure.
So obviously, there's a few of us here in Northwest Ohio that are actually going to make it to the Division 1 level, and a lot of great softball players mixed in. But I think travel ball, when you're like going around the country for these tournaments, it's just the best of the best all the time. It's a really awesome competitive experience.
Yeah, and I mean that's only going to make you better too. Playing the best of the
Mm-hmm.
best because that's what you're used to, and especially if you come back, to Northwest Ohio, and like you said, you play a mix of all kinds of athletes.
Mm-hmm.
It's just going to make you stand out that much more too. So that's awesome. Now talking about your training here. Now is that right? Is your dad, Jeremy? Is he your hitting coach?
Yes, he is. He's
What's
my
it?
hitting and fielding coach.
What's it been like having him as in your corner as a coach and a parent? Do you guys ever butt heads, or is it mostly smooth for you guys?
I would say it's mostly smooth, honestly. I know I've talked to a lot of my travel teammates who do work with their parents, and they butt heads a lot. But fortunately, my dad and we work really well together, and I think that's why we've worked so well. He's been my hitting and fielding coach since I started softball, really. Um, so yeah, he's really awesome. He's always put in the work. He always told me he would work as hard as I wanted to. So just having someone like that who's really determined and like to help me out. So um, with him, I would say since I was 8 years old, I would work with him every single day, 5 to 6 days. But yeah, 5 to 6 days a week, just working on how to get better. But it's really awesome.
Yeah,
I'm
and that's
very grateful.
great that he's your parent, but also he gets to be a coach at the same time. So that's something
Mhm.
special that you guys can connect with for sure. Last question I have before we go to break: how do you stay sharp during the off season? And what's your training like, and what are your workout routines like?
Yeah, so in the off season, um, I work out at Optimal Performance Fitness with Jake Rubio. So I would go there. I go there about maybe 4 times a week. There I do strength training, speed training, um, all of the above training, working on getting stronger, being faster, better. And on top of that, I work with my dad every single day. So our practices are usually around an hour and a half or so. Um, and we're fortunate enough to be able to go work at the high school. So that's really, really awesome. I live pretty close to it. So it's really amazing. I'm very blessed to have access to those facilities. So with that, We usually do about an hour of offense, 30 minutes to an hour of offense, and then roughly, I would say about 30 minutes of defense. So with that, we work on machine, front toss, T-work, heavy bats, different drills that we picked up from colleges all around the country. And then for defense, sorry, we work on, I know in high school ball, I only play shortstop, but in travel ball, I actually bounce around between second and third more, I would say, with the
Okay.
occasional shortstop. So for defense work, I work in all three of those positions because I never really know where I'm going to play, and
Right.
I like it that way.
Yeah. No, and I
I
think
like
that
the thrill of it.
yeah, that's a good trait to have too, just as an athlete in general. I know for myself, playing, football and, in college and, baseball, basketball, football in high school, the more positions and the more versatile you can make yourself as a player, that's just going to open up more opportunities for you down the road too. Even going to college, if you can play multiple positions, that's going to be a quicker path to getting on the field and getting more playing time and, just a
Absolutely.
good start to your career. So definitely a good attribute you have. The other thing I was just going to say too, Jake does a phenomenal job at Optimal Performance Fitness. I've seen kind of some of the workouts that he does, and there's similar workouts, and exercises that we would do at the collegiate level. So he definitely knows what he's doing. So you get paired with great coaching and great strength and conditioning. It makes for a good combo for sure. So
Absolutely.
all right, well, we're going to take a break to hear from our sponsors, and we'll be right back. DSN Sports is your go-to business for purchasing uniforms, equipment, spiritwear, and anything else your athletic program needs, giving you more time to impact lives on the field. With over 1,200 sales professionals who live, work, and serve in your community, you're always just a short drive or phone call away. Be sure to give your local sales rep and Jim Garris a call for any of your athletic supply needs. Titan GPS delivers technological superiority and improved player performance through wearable GPS made for high school football and strength and conditioning programs. From speed training to athlete recruit to workload enhancement, Titan is the easy-to-use yet comprehensive GPS tool to get it done. There's no minimum to get started, and Titan will walk you through every step to success. Message us on X Titan Sensor to learn more and get in touch.
Baden Stevens Body Shop is your #1 voted auto body shop in Northwest Ohio. We are your experts on all makes and models and are the only Chrysler, Ford, and GM certified collision repair center in the area. Located in Jewel, Ohio. Give us a call today at 419-497-3111 to schedule your free estimate. Come check out the Baden Stevens Body Shop difference.
The Drop Zone Pizzeria is the #1 voted pizza restaurant in the region. Check them out for pizza, wings, subs, and more. Located in Ayersville and Stryker, or ask them about their traveling food trailer. Check out Tenora Rams Live. Live events broadcast on YouTube and post-game results, articles, schedules, and more can all be found on tenorarams.com. Feel free to look up their Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram pages as well. Welcome back to the NWO Sports Podcast. Logan Bailey here with Defiance Softball's Ayvah, Cullen, and Ball State commit. Ayvah, we're going to be moving on to the next section about college and what's next for you. So, this recruiting process in college, it can often be, I think sometimes maybe intimidating. It can be kind of challenging at times. But just take me through like what your process was like and, maybe what helped you out the most to get recruited by a Division I school.
Yeah, so I think travel ball was definitely the biggest thing. Um, being exposed to that kind of competition, and just traveling to all those big tournaments where all those Division I schools recruit at. Um, being fortunate enough to be able to like be on that stage where I can be seen. I think that was definitely the biggest part. Also, Twitter or X now, that was probably the biggest reason I got recruited by Ball State, other than travel ball, of course. Just posting on there. I would post videos of my workouts with Jake, as well as videos from my practices with my dad, and then clips from travel ball games. And that's actually, after seeing some of those videos, is when Ball State actually reached out to me. But I would say my recruiting process, everybody's looks a little different, of course.
Right.
Mine was unique in the sense that I'm not sure if you all know this, but college Division I schools can't reach out to you until September 1st of your junior year.
Right.
So actually right before, about a month before, coaches were about to reach out to me, my older brother, he goes to Ohio State. He got into a really unfortunate accident where he was hospitalized. So that kind of took my attention away from softball, I guess. I was a little more worried about him at the time.
Right.
And unfortunately, that led me to fall behind a little bit. I was being heavily recruited by some really big Power 5 schools, such as like Florida State, North Carolina, Oklahoma. Some really big schools were looking at me. And unfortunately, I fell behind. So I didn't perform as good as I would have liked to when they could actually start looking at me. So I did get some calls and texts on September 1st. None of them really went anywhere though. And Ball State reached out, and I absolutely loved everything about them. The coaching staff there, they're just absolutely fantastic. The girls, I'm so excited to play with them next year, or this fall, I guess. But the campus is beautiful. Like I'm just so excited to go there.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like everything, worked out well for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I like what you said too. You played travel ball, and especially with like social media and X, in terms of like sometimes obviously talent's what's going to get you recruited. You got to be good enough to play at the next level, but two, being from a smaller area, you almost do have to kind of market yourself out there and
absolutely
kind of help yourself out and help the cause
For sure.
out, because there's a lot of athletes throughout the country in whatever sport you may play. So you got to kind of really show, what puts you above, a lot of the other softball players too. So I like that did that a lot.
Yeah.
What I have next for you is, what are you most excited about when it comes to college softball? I'm sure there's definitely some nerves brewing up, and not jumping ahead too far because you still have the rest of your high school career here and in your senior year.
Yep.
But, what are you excited about most for college?
Oh, I would say probably just the competition level. Like I said earlier, right now with travel ball, being able to face like the best of the best all the time, I'm really excited for that because obviously like being fortunate enough to go to a Division I school is great. And then once you get there, everybody is just as good as you, if not better. And I'm a very competitive person when it comes to sports and everything in my life, really. So I'm really excited to just get out there and compete with the best of the best, really.
Do you know what you plan on studying at Ball State?
Yes, I am a biochemistry pre-med major.
Awesome. And with college softball, what are some long-term goals that you have, regarding playing in college, but also, do you have any coaching aspirations one day too?
I've always been unsure about that, actually. I kind of go back and forth because I've always wanted to be a doctor. I'd like to be a surgeon. Those are my career goals. But when I think about not being able to play softball anymore and kind of leaving the game behind, I get all choked up. It makes me really sad. And I don't know if would be able to do that. So I'm not sure about that, really. I think being a coach would be really awesome. I'm sure being involved in the game still would be great for me after I'm no longer able to play it myself. But as of right now, I'm not really sure.
Yeah, and you still got plenty of time for that too. So kind of jumping the gun on that one. All right, let's take a break to hear from our sponsors one last time, and we'll be right back.
DSN Sports is your go-to business for purchasing uniforms, equipment, spiritwear, and anything else your athletic program needs, giving you more time to impact lives on the field. With over 1,200 sales professionals who live, work, and serve in your community, you're always just a short drive or phone call away. Be sure to give your local sales rep and Jim Garris a call for any of your athletic supply needs. Titan GPS delivers technological superiority and improved player performance through wearable GPS made for high school football and strength and conditioning programs. From speed training to athlete recruit to workload enhancement, Titan is the easy-to-use yet comprehensive GPS tool to get it done. There's no minimum to get started, and Titan will walk you through every step to success. Message us on X Titan Sensor to learn more and get in touch.
Baden Stevens Body Shop is your #1 voted auto body shop in Northwest Ohio. We are your experts on all makes and models and are the only Chrysler, Ford, and GM certified collision repair center in the area. Located in Jewel, Ohio. Give us a call today at 419-497-3111 to schedule your free estimate. Come check out the Bat and Stevens Body Shop difference.
The Drop Zone Pizzeria is the #1 voted pizza restaurant in the region. Check them out for pizza, wings, subs, and more. Located in Ayersville and Stryker, or ask them about their traveling food trailer. Check out Tenora Rams Live. Live events broadcast on YouTube and post-game results, articles, schedules, and more can all be found on tenorarams.com. Feel free to look up their Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram pages as well.
Back on the NWO Sports Podcast here, and we're talking to Ayvah Cullen from Defiance High School softball team. All right, Ayvah, the last section here. I just want to talk a little bit more just about softball, and then I got some rapid-fire questions for you too, and I've been holding them, so they're secret. You got to answer on the fly. Let's just talk.
Sounds good.
Let's just talk a little bit more about, you talked about softball and the mental side of things. How do you stay focused and, mentally tough in high-pressure situations? Baseball, softball, there's such a huge mental component, especially, there's slumps and there's streaks, and how do you kind of stay even keel? You don't get too high with the high, you don't get too low with the lows. What is your kind of philosophy when it comes to that?
I do think it's a really difficult thing to do, to not get too high, not get too low. But I think the main thing that helps me the most is my preparation. So depending on how much I do in preparation for the game, that kind of results in how good I'll feel about it, I guess. Obviously slumps come, but knowing that I'm prepared, knowing that I've done everything I can do to perform my best really helps with that, really helps with the confidence of it. I think preparation is really key. Mental toughness, I think that's kind of hard to build. Thankfully, I've kind of always had that, I would say. But I think a lot of that just comes from your confidence and knowing that you've done what you can to perform your best in practice and in the weight room.
Yeah, well said. If you're prepared and you're ready to go, and that definitely makes performing in high pressure situations that much easier. And you playing a lot of talent, especially in travel ball. I'm sure that kind of helps because you see some of those top pitchers. If you're hitting, and vice versa. Some of those tough hitters, and you're playing out in the field. So definitely well said. Do you have any pregame rituals or superstitions?
So there are a few things I always do. First, I have a cross necklace that I've been wearing every single day, every single game since I was about 8 years old.
Okay.
So I have that. It's made out of softball bats, so it's really cool. Also, my cross eye black. I'm not sure if you guys have ever seen me, but I always have my eye black on. If I don't, then it's like I feel like something's wrong.
Yeah.
And also at the high school, we always say a prayer before every game. We always, we used to always do the Cotton Eye Joe before every game too. But
you guys listen to that pregame music all the time then, or not anymore?
Every now and then.
If you had one song to pick pregame, what would you listen to?
Oh man.
What song would get you pumped up?
The girls love to listen to First Day Out by T. Grizzly. So that song is almost always playing in our warm-ups.
There you go. That'll get you pumped up. That's some stuff the guys in college and football, they would listen to that all the time. All right, let's move on. Last section here, rapid-fire questions. These are just some fun ones, and we'll see how you answer them. So I got 2, 4, 5 of them here for you, all right? So the goal is I'm going to read them off, and you got to just kind of think of something quick on the fly, okay?
All right.
All right, first one is favorite post-match meal?
Chipotle.
Toughest pitcher you faced?
Thea Staten.
Best advice you've ever received from a coach or teammate?
Play the game with emotion, but don't play the game emotional.
If you could play softball with any athlete, past or present, who would it be?
Definitely Sis Bates.
And if you couldn't play softball, what would be your main sport?
Oh man. Probably golf. I played that for a couple of years.
Really? Okay. Good deal. So you did well with those. So those are just fun ones I like to ask a lot of the athletes. All right, closing question here for you. Just got one. What advice would you give to young softball players who want to reach the level of success you've had and maybe move on to the next level collegiately?
Yeah, I would say travel ball is definitely huge. Absolutely is the main reason why I was able to be seen by any colleges. Twitter is huge. Posting on there, I know a lot of people are surprised by the answer usually. But Twitter is, like I said, that's how the Ball State coaches found me. That's how I got to my home. So posting videos on Twitter, tagging coaches, super huge. Yeah, and I think just putting in the work. Obviously, my dad told me when I told him that I wanted to play Division I softball, he told me that it would be the hardest thing that I would ever do in my life, and it absolutely has been. Countless hours of putting in the work in the gym, in the classroom. Obviously, a lot of people tend to forget about that, but we are student athletes.
Right.
So definitely putting in the work in all areas of your life, just being driven. And if you want it bad enough, I think you can absolutely get it.
All right. Well, great job, Ayvah. Really appreciated talking to you, and I think you did a great job. So,
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. Any final words for those listening?
Thank you so much.
All right. Well, we'd like to thank our sponsors, BSN Sports, Titan Sports, Bat Stevens Body Shop, Drop Zone Pizzeria, and Tenora Rams Live. And if you enjoy our content, would like to sponsor or donate, please reach on out and stay tuned for the next NWO Sports podcast in the near future. And thanks for listening.